Hello everyone, I'm Addison from Elemental Battlegrounds, and I'm here to answer a question I've been asked numerous times about my Elemental Battlegrounds combo I named Hell Scythe that I use in the Roblox game Elemental Battlegrounds. Some people believe it's unskilled, and I want to make this video to clarify a few things. Before I begin, I want to say, as a very experienced player of Elemental Battlegrounds, all information provided in this video comes from years of experience playing the game, and so this video is not subject to disagreement. Some videos provides a disclaimer saying, you don't have to agree, but this is the actual truth. Rather, you want to agree or disagree regardless. I don't care. I think I speak for everyone when I say skill is typically irrelevant in Elemental Battlegrounds for numerous of reasons, and I'm about to explain why. Because it seems as if some players of the Elemental Battlegrounds Roblox game has flawed logic on what actual skill typically refers to, and I'm here to just clarify the actual real reality of the term skill associated with the Roblox game Elemental Battlegrounds. A lot will agree, and some players whose brain is the size of a walnut will disagree, because they're too egotistical to admit the truth. Because first of all, Elemental Battlegrounds was not meant for skill gameplay, it was meant for creativity, finding different spells and putting them within combination of each other to create new movesets and abilities for battle against other players. Meaning combos that you view as being unfair or view as something that shouldn't be in the game at all are generally meant to exist in the game. I've seen some players saying developers never intended for combos capable of one hit killing other players with minimal effort. But if that was actually the case, then players would be limited to specific combos and combinations to prevent this. This is even more backed by the fact that the Elemental Battlegrounds staff and one of the developers were already aware of my one-hit kill combo long before they had abandoned the game, and this is even more backed up by the developer's final release of the new solar element that my sister Victoria is famously known for using to the highest skill level possible in Elemental Battlegrounds. Because what came with Solar was an ultimate attack that barely requires any aim to actually use, that can be paired with different combinations like Solar Iris and Flame Body for increased attack power that allows more damage output to one-hit kill. Even large groups of players showing where the developers' priorities lie when leaning on more creativity rather than skill-based gameplay. There is absolutely no way you can sit here and tell me that developers intended for skillful gameplay, and let's not also forget, there's a party feature associated with the Elemental Battlegrounds Roblox game that allows players to team up on other players, which also still allows for more easier kills with minimal effort. And as of recently, I found out high levels abuse this feature to team on low-level players who are often new to the game. But somehow, we still have brain-dead monkeys in Elemental Battlegrounds still proclaiming that Elemental Battlegrounds is a skill-based game, which is far from the actual truth. And what is perhaps most concerning is that players who claim to be skilled at Elemental Battlegrounds are often just as bad as the individual they're slandering for not being skillful at the game. I'm not one to get into debate topics regarding competitive gameplay, but I feel this also needs to be addressed because it will set the plot of my entire point that's about to be discussed. So, let me take two good examples of players that I know of that symbolizes just how non-existent skill actually is in Elemental Battlegrounds, that also symbolizes most of the other unskilled players who claim to be skilled but are actually not skilled, with two popular examples, with two players named Max and Frist. These two players often claim they're the greatest of Elemental Battlegrounds, often proclaiming to be the most skilled of the skilled, which is massively far from the actual truth. I met these two players not long ago in EBG, and they often use cheap tactics to try and receive wins, which can be seen as unskillful gameplay despite proclaiming to be skilled. So think of this for a second. If you're a player of the game that's saying he or she is unskilled, then are you any better than any other unskillful individual if you use the same tactics when it's convenient for you to do so? Most players of the game use unskilled tactics and methods with the purpose of balancing out the unbalanced aspects of the game. By definition, if the ultimate combos, which leads to methods that other players proclaim is cheap or unfair, makes them unskilled at the game, then you are no better or different from them. If you stoop to the same ways as the individual you proclaim aren't skilled. And that's what a lot of players of Elemental Battlegrounds don't understand. To me, you're only considered a skill player when you have never abused meta combinations or used cheap tactics while playing with absolute integrity. Most players who slander another person for being unskilled often can and will use unskilled tactics themselves. It's because of this very fact that skill is the least prioritized thing amongst my Elemental Battlegrounds rankings. And let's not even get me started on the hackers of Elemental Battlegrounds who cheat the game and believe they have the right to call another individual unskilled. In many ways, skill is an absolute joke because of these reasons. Often, it's not just the skill issues regarding players of Elemental Battlegrounds, but it's also many players' false beliefs on what makes a player of the game the very best or one of the very best. Again, let's take Frist and Max for example. They be off talking about me saying my Reaper ult is easy to beat, but upon fighting me, they are always just kind of using teleportation spells to run from me, and typically, you don't run from something that's very easy to beat. They often proclaim to be one of the very best players, often saying there's barely anyone who can take them in a fight while somehow at the same time running from me on sight when I've seen players who can take the full wrath of my Hell Scythe or Solar Reaper combo without running and still put up a good fight. Showing there are many players massively above them, showing they're capable of doing something that Max and Frist could never do. Often, players, especially the egotistical ones, will never choose to acknowledge other players regardless of their immense power or skill, simply because they're either not talked about or don't have popularity. Some players of Elemental Battlegrounds resort to coping methods or tactics after losing a fight in a way they don't approve of. This is what my Elemental Battlegrounds rankings and Wikipedia site aims to fix. As a top player, you must be willing to overcome all challenges that stand in your way, not lose and look for coping methods, and do everything besides actually getting better at the game. The greatest of champions stand strong even in the face of impossible odds, and for some reason, Elemental Battlegrounds players refuse to understand this and believe people rise to the top, become great through respect and skill, which if you believe that for a second, then you must have the IQ of a brick wall. I'm sorry. Rising to the top in any league of profession takes hard work and dedication. Rising to the top is never an easy road where you're respected by everyone. Hard work and powering through challenges is the essence of a true top player of Elemental Battlegrounds, not losing and looking for coping methods. And this is what my Elemental Battlegrounds rankings and tier listing will reflect. Also, by the gameplay you're seeing on screen, you may be asking yourself why I stopped playing like this. Why must I use a Reaper ult to kill my enemies? It's largely because skill isn't a priority in Roblox Elemental Battlegrounds anymore. The thing that is prioritized in Elemental Battlegrounds nowadays is drama, lying on others, hacking and condoning illegal activities rather than actual enjoyment of the game, like how a Roblox game is meant to be played. So realistically, the Reaper Ultimate combo is more efficient. The Reaper Ultimate combo that I named Hell Scythe has also been more to me than a combo, but also in some ways a companion. Because there's been plenty of times where I was attacked by predators that exist in the game who attempted to target me only to the Hell Scythe combo one hit, killing them. And so it's always acted as protector and shield against all the negative associated with EBG, and therefore I build a solid relationship with the Solar Reaper combo. And I don't plan on ever giving it up and will not give it up, regardless of what anyone says. The history I made alongside my Hell Scythe combo is more important than Monkey's disapproval of it. Sorry if that sounds insulting, but I'm not going to sacrifice the history I made with this combo set over meaningless things like disapproval or opinions. But anyways, this video is getting too long. I'm planning on making another channel where I will upload Elemental Battlegrounds content regularly soon for my Wikipedia page, so if you're interested in that, please stay tuned. Anyways, love you all.